Welcome to Snooty Podcast.
Hey, what's going on? Good morning to my Snooty Lounge crew. I got a special guest here today, and he's a pillar of the Albany community. And King Randall got the School X for Boys. Appreciate you coming on. How you doing today?
Appreciate you having me, man. I was glad to make it. I just put out a post the other day because I've been looking for local podcasts, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just make a post and then and see who shows up. And a lot of people reached out, so I'm glad to be here, man. Absolutely.
So quick backstory with that. So Champ got the post and he sent it to me. So if it wasn't for Champ, I really appreciate him how you look it out. And then he works with you now.
Yeah, that's our newest videographer on the team now. We got three videographers now because we got a lot going on, from my son to myself and to the after school program. So just trying to make sure we got something being covered all the time. I know a lot of people love to see what happens inside of my actual life. Yeah, so that's what we're trying to do, is just get people, integrated in what I do on a daily basis with my kids and outside of the X for Boys. So.
For sure. So I kind of do it like a Vlad. I like to do chronologically and just go and work my way on through. Sure, but my first question is going to be, so somebody asks, who is King Randall? What would you tell them?
If you ask me who I am, I'm just a regular kid from Albany, Georgia. I grew up here. Born and raised here.
What side of town?
I went to international studies first. I went to Robert Cross and then I went to Westover. I grew up starting out on the south side on Madison Street. My grandmother's house is over there. And then she moved this about 3 years ago, but that's where I started out. Then we moved to 1219 Catalina Lane.
All right, now.
Carolina Beach.
Yeah. Way east.
Yes, sir. Yeah. We stayed there for maybe about 3 or 4 years, and then we moved over to the dark side, over there on South Street, on Mocha Road. That's where we lived for maybe until I was about 15 or 16, and then my mom moved to Atlanta with her husband, and I moved back to the south side with my grandma. So
you always was in Albany your whole life, or did you ever move? Whole life.
Always been here, never left. I only left briefly when I went to the Marines, but other than that,
because I was in the Army.
Right.
So when they actually did the School X for Boys, when did you actually begin to start that? How did it come about?
Yeah, so I started the program back in 2019 when I was 19 years old.
All right, now.
The X for Boys program and my son are kind of born at the same time. He was born 9 days after my first field trip with the students, so they had almost the same birthday. But yeah, it was about 6 years ago, man, and to say that I've learned a lot, I think it's just for lack of better words. I've learned so much. I've matured a whole lot, but when I was 19, I saw one of my friends from high school get sentenced to 30 years in prison for a murder. And he didn't commit the murder, his brother did, but he wasn't even there, but he hid the murder weapon. He got tied up with that. Had never been in any trouble or anything. So it was tough to see that. But my question to the judge at the time was, I'm like, do they have any type of programs, for like kids to be able to join or something, like just to, help them, maneuver through life? And they only had this one program called Functional Family Therapy, where they met, I think it was once a week for an hour for 3 months, virtually. And I'm just like, how is that like rehabilitation, for juvenile offenders? It's not.
No.
And so I was trying to find some other programs. So I was like, I'm just gonna start my own. And I took some kids on a field trip to Atlanta, to the Center for Civil and Human Rights, to the African American History Museum, and also I took the kids to get free haircuts. So that was cool to me, man.
I need to line up right now. I might need to hook me up.
I went bald since then, man. But other than that, that's kind of why I started the program, and that's where we got started at.
So what services specifically do you offer at the school?
Yeah, so right now, our school program is completely free. It's been free since its inception, and I'm happy to say that. Sometimes we've struggled a little bit because it's been free, but thankfully, utilizing social media and different platforms I've been able to get on, we are able to keep the program free. So as of right now, in 2025, we offer Monday through Friday, every single day of the week, from 2:30 to 8. They get out of school about 2:30.
Right.
Pick them up from school. The parents are only responsible for picking them up after school, like around 8. So maybe when they get off of work or something like that. But they will already be fed. We make sure they get help with their homework. They learn different things such as automotive repair, general contracting, etc. That's kind of what we're offering for this year. But mainly, I tell people often that even though they see us teaching them how to work on cars and houses, etc., those are not the things that I believe that make you a man.
What makes you a man?
Character building. It's all about routines and habits that you have as a man, how you carry yourself, not just knowing how to do things, but actually being able to give to people around you. Are people being better, if they're around you? Are people growing if they're around you? And those are character building traits that I believe our kids need here in Albany. The idea is to just find something for the kids to do. Sure, it's cool to find them something to do, but I could put 30 basketball courts up, and if the kids' mindsets aren't changed, they're going to fight and kill each other out there.
Right.
So again, what are we doing to aim at the mindsets? Because again, sometimes leadership will say, oh, well, we, built this park and we got this gymnasium together, etc. And I'm like, I don't care how many gymnasiums you get together. I don't care how many parks you build. Just because they have something to do does not mean their mindsets are being changed. And that's something that we're missing in regard to literacy here, in regard to the children learning just about themselves, learning conflict resolution, many different things that I believe they are missing. And it's not no fault to anybody in particular, but it's just some things that I believe we are behind on here in the city of Albany, and we're looking for some newer leadership that's going to push us into the modern era and into the future.
So speaking of leadership, you say you did go to the Marines. What did you learn from the Marines that you took from there that's helping you do what you're doing right now?
I believe that if I didn't go to the Marines, I wouldn't have been able to discipline as well as I do with the students. A lot of people always ask, how am I able to control the kids and have them, doing certain things, etc. And I tell them, I'm like, the Marine Corps. Everything that I learned from the Marine Corps as far as the discipline and the exercise, etc., it works with our kids. It works with our students. And people ask, why do they sit a certain way? Why do they carry themselves a certain way? Yes, sir. No, sir. Proper greeting of the day. Those are normal things from back in the day.
That's right.
But of course, nowadays it's a surprise when the kid says, yes, sir.
It's refreshing now.
And yes, they like, oh my God, your kids are saying good morning and good afternoon. Or they, know how to eat properly. We have etiquette classes with them. It's a lot that the kids are missing, but that's what we're offering now.
And I was in the Army for 8 years, and my mom was the type, if you didn't say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, it was what I'm saying, politely like that. But
yeah, absolutely.
But also, you've been on trips, you've been to Nigeria. So how was the experience of, going out the country, going to motherland?
Yeah, Nigeria, I think it was a beautiful and humbling experience for me. I won't say it was a fun trip because, we were in one of the more poor parts of Nigeria. But it was beautiful for me to interact with those kids, beautiful for me to interact with the leaders of the program there, and we're going back in May for the International Day of the Boy. But this I have on.
I was just going to ask you about that
too.
They
made this for me.
Oh, word, okay.
Yeah, they made this for me.
I might need you to hook me. I wear size large, so you know what I'm saying.
Well, they measured me up.
Okay.
Squared it away. So, but yeah, so they made this for me. But to the point where they don't have sewage and they don't have fresh water, and they don't just necessarily can go get a snack or go get some water from the fridge or go get it. Just the normal things that we're able to do, we couldn't do there. We had to organize to go eat food. It wasn't just a DoorDash or Uber Eats. We had to organize to eat. And mostly it was kind of eating some of the same things over and over again because there's not a lot to just choose from. And then those kids over there, to see how articulate they were, to the point where I believe some of those children are out working adults here in America. And a lot of their dreams are to get here. Most of those kids in Africa, we ask all of them, in a room, what do you want to be or where you want to go when you grow up? They we want to come to America and be a doctor or an astronaut or whatever. They got big dreams, well-read, very articulate. They asking me more deeper questions than adults have. They were truly digging into the lessons that I was giving them, and it was just a beautiful thing. So to see those kids, man, it almost kind of removed a little bit of empathy for me because I'm just like, man, we are worlds ahead of where they are, and why can't we, make something happen? So that's what I believe in now, is truly just, okay, what can I do with what I got right now? Not, oh, I wish I could have had, or I should have, could have been.
Ain't no woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Nope.
What you got to do, just execute.
What you got to do.
Charlie Mike.
Absolutely.
So when I was deployed in Afghanistan, so I kind of understand the third world environment and kids having to, I'm trying to give a kid a muffin and a kid trying to beat another kid up just to take their muffins and stuff like that. And so what's some of the plans that you have for this year going forward for the rest of the year? For this year, it's all about data for us. And I've learned that over the past 6 years, we've got some data, but we don't have any real data on our kids. I want to be able to say okay,
we brought XYZ amount of kids in, and XYZ amount of kids have started flourishing in this area. We're also going to start tracking metrics on their weight and health. We're going to start seeing how long it takes them to run a mile, how many pull-ups can they do, how many push-ups can they do, what is their coming weight when they first get to the program, and then where are they now in 3 months, and in 6 months, and in 9 months. So we want to show all of this data, showing that this is working, this is helping, and also we want to make sure that we're tracking data in a way that it shows that we are truly progressing these children. And we only have 25 right now, but after we show, what we're doing with the kids right now, then I want to say, okay, now next year I want to take a larger amount of kids. I want to get a bigger staff. And if we make that happen, I believe that we could empower more kids. We could take more kids and do more and impact more families. Because not only do we just help the kids, our families are impacted also. Their moms, their grandmothers, their aunts, they're impacted because now they believe that their child is doing something better. Their morale is higher because we're teaching them a little bit more. They're going to school, learning a little bit more. They're wanting to do different things. They're wanting to live in a more positive light. Mainly because children nowadays are just looking for somewhere where it's cool to do the right thing.
Right.
And so what we're doing now is creating and fostering an environment where it's cool to do the right thing when you're with us after school. So when somebody at school or their parents are telling them, hey, you should be doing the right thing, they might want to do the right thing.
Right.
But everybody around them is like, nah, or picking on you or bullying, etc. But when you get
like saying somebody talking proper because you just speaking the correct way.
Correct, absolutely, and that bothers people. Why are you talking so proper? I had to get on.
That's code word for
white. Why are you talking white?
Yes.
And I had to get onto one of my family members at one of our family functions because my son, he had simply asked to go use the restroom. He's like, hey dad, can I go use the restroom? I'm like, yeah. She was like, why are you talking so proper? I'm like, what you mean? And she was just like, why he talking so proper? I'm like, what's proper? I'm just like, he just asked to go use the restroom. I'm like, that's how he talks or whatever. But he speaks English.
Yeah.
That's the proper language he's speaking. Now, as far as vernacular and slang, etc., he'll get
it'll
into
come
that.
around. You're going to get that.
He'll get into that. But as he's learning, he needs to learn proper English.
Right.
If we were speaking Spanish, he needs to learn proper Spanish. I'm
See?
sure Spanish people are going to be like, oh, why he isn't talking the slang Spanish? He needs to be talking proper Spanish, obviously, because that's the language he would be learning. Same with French. If he's learning French, he needs to be talking proper French.
Right.
Like the correct way. Then after you fully learn the language, then you get into the slang and talking like your friends or whatever like that. But there's also time to turn it on and turn it off. Yeah. So and that's a beautiful thing. Everybody has. I know they'll try to say it's code switches only for black people. I'm like, no, it's not. Everybody in history code switches. Nobody's gonna talk to their mom like they talk to their boss.
I sure ain't.
No, I'm like, they're not gonna talk to their boss like they talk to their homeboy.
Correct.
Or whatever. In any race, they're just not gonna do that or whatever because everybody carries themselves differently around the people that they're comfortable around.
Right.
So I know we try to make that a black and white thing, but it's not. Like everybody does that. Everybody code switches at some point.
True.
So it just sometimes I try to remove some of those barriers that we try to make and create via race because at the end of the day they be like, oh well, I gotta change my tone for a white boss. If the boss was black, you still gonna have to change your white tone. Change your tone. So I'm just like, whether the boss is black or white, you have that he's an authority figure, so you speak to them in a proper manner, regardless or whatever. Now, if you want to talk how you want to talk, then start your own business and then do what you want to do or whatever. But as long as you're working for somebody or you're in some type of industry or something, you're gonna have to carry yourself a certain way. That's in anywhere you go, whether football players going to the NFL, the MLB, etc. You might talk to the players like this, but when the owner of the team come around, you got to talk like that.
A little different.
You got to carry yourself a little bit differently. So now, unless you're a person who carries yourself the same way all the time, then that's cool. But other than that, everybody code switches.
So everybody can't be Kanye.
Nah,
everybody can't be Kanye.
And you got to get, if you want to be like that, get to the money to the point where nobody bother you about it.
I call that FU money.
Yeah, that's what it is. FU money. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But the way you're talking, if you was a head coach, it seemed like somebody to run through a brick wall for you and try to do whatever you need to be done.
Absolutely.
So when you was growing up, what's some of the adults or figures who you looked up to, just when you was on the come up?
Yeah, my stepdad, he raised me from the time maybe I was about, he came around about 9 or 10, and when my mom got married to him, he came around about 9 or 10, and he raised me through all of that time. And he was a extra country guy.
Shout out to him then.
From Moultrie,
all right now.
Super country. But we did everything in the backyard. We grew all our own food. We had a whole bunch of dogs. We had chickens. We had everything, man. And we grew. When I said grew all of our own food, like we down to the seasonings. Like we grew everything in the backyard. We had banana trees, orange.
You still got some? Still some right there? I can go get some right now.
Absolutely. Actually,
right,
I said we still own that house.
All right,
and all those fruit trees are still in the backyard. So every around the winter time or whatever, we always go get the oranges and tangerines. In the springtime, we go get the plums or whatever like that. Figs out there too. But we grew everything out there, man, and I learned how to weld. We made our own grills.
Okay.
Out there. We poured concrete. We did bricks. I mean, we did everything out there.
Masonry and all. Okay.
Yeah, and so what's funny is I didn't realize that other communities didn't have what we had in our neighborhood, because we had Mr. David, who was 2 houses down.
Mm-hmm.
We had Mr. Silas and his wife across the street. He drove trucks.
Okay.
We had Deacon Bogan behind my house.
Shout out to Deacon.
Yeah, I said Deacon Bogan. He was a deacon at one of our local churches, but he was a big part of my life also. And then you had, call him Pie Man. I know most neighborhoods got a candy lady, but we had a candy man. So
okay.
And we called him Pie Man. So Pie Man would be down the street, but Pie Man used to grow out his own food. He used to sell pickles and he would sell chips or whatever. Mr. Silas' wife, she would sell like ices and stuff like that. But I say all that to say, we had a full community in our neighborhood, because like on certain days of the week, my stepdad would do Bible study at our house.
Okay.
And so he would bring everybody from the neighborhood, all the boys, like everybody come from the neighborhood, and we do Bible study in my mom's room or whatever. Everybody sit on the floor and he would teach Bible study. And then like everybody from the neighborhood would be in the backyard, whether we were back there playing football or learning how to do stuff. Then my granddad came to live with us for a while, and he gave me a lot of wisdom.
What's some of the things that he taught you, your granddad?
Man, it ain't like something off the top of my head. I can just be like, oh, granddaddy said X, Y, Z. It's more in those moments, like when life's happening, I can say, oh yeah, granddaddy taught me X, Y, Z. He was around me often. And of course, now that I'm older, my uncle that lives in Carolina, he is like the guy that I ask about every single thing, from relationships to life to politics, etc. He's very intelligent, and I call him about every single soul thing. He helps me make so many decisions with my life, and of course I don't listen to all of it. Sometimes he'll tell me something, and I will say my uncle always right. I have never met a human that's always right. I ain't never met a man that's always right. Every time he says something, it comes to pass every single time. So as I've gotten older, I've learned to just start listening a little bit more, because he lived life. But yeah, so I got a lot of men around me that help me live. I never have like these celebrities or nothing like that I say are like some people I look up to. Nah, it's the men in my life that have all added something to make me who I am. And so that's why I surround my sons with a lot of men too. So I impart a lot of wisdom on him. Then also his boxing coach is always Adam. Then his previous baseball coaches, etc. Like he is giving wisdom from all areas, from his teacher to his grandma, my mom, to my grandma. Everybody is around him, giving them something. All my sons, so that's very important to me, to make sure that they're surrounded by many men and not just myself.
I like that song by 50 Cent, by the way, Many Men. Hey, Snooty Lounge crew, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'm with the big dog, Mr. King Randall. But also, I want to ask, what got you into politics exactly?
Man, it's funny people ask that. I'm into politics, but I'm not into politics.
Okay.
People ask that question. I know they see me like interact with Trump and interact with John Ossoff, etc., because they see I've done multiple things with different entities. I've done stuff with Democrats, we've done stuff with Republicans. We've had more support from the Republican side, sure, or whatever, but I don't like just hold up either one.
Right.
For example, I went to the White House I think like last month with President Trump, and people had a lot to say about me going, and I'm just like, I got invited because of the work that I do. I'm not invited because you see me posting any Trump stuff all over social media. You don't see me out here MAGA in and wearing the hats and all that. All you see me doing is doing work. And if they support it, then that's fine. And while I was there, I was able to network with actually a lot of people from different communities who are actually trying to get some things done on where they are. And it's inspiring people. So I met a lot of people there, took a lot of pictures with different people. And it was a beautiful experience for me. Because for one, I had never been there, but it was just cool to meet so many people that are doing work in different areas, because people just like look at the sensationalizing of the other, I call the other conservatives who are just who are solely there to go viral and make videos to stick it to the Democrats. I'm not there for that. I was there for the other people that are in the room who are not viral, who are actually been doing work.
In the trenches.
Yeah, they are in the trenches doing work. These people may, have, not support Republicans. They may be Republican, but at the end of the day, these people were doing work. I don't walk with those folks who just trying to go viral to stick it to the Democrats. I'm not rolling with them folks who just trying to stick it to the Democrats and just making stuff just to go viral. That's not me. I'm making content, to show people that I can be a father, show them that they can be a father. I'm making content to show people that they can get in their community like I'm in my community or whatever, and people are being inspired by that. So to see that administration invite me solely because of the work that I'm doing, not because I'm going to post about them. I didn't say nothing about them when I went. I didn't mention Trump or nothing. I just said, I took a picture at the White House. Here I am, and I said I'm back to work.
Right.
As soon as I left there, I was back on the plane, back to Albany to get back to work. Coaching baseball right now, etc. So
I was just about to get to that too.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because we did have, especially here in Albany, people were like a little upset about me going to the White House and heard a lot of chatter about it. And I'm just like, bro, I'm there because I do work, bro.
Right.
And it's simple as that. Because and half of them, if they got invited, they would have went too. So that was my thing. I was there just trying to, network with a lot of people that are doing work in their communities. And sure, I didn't have a choice to be in a couple videos because people just got their phone out or whatever like that. But that don't mean I support them. You didn't see me posting or resharing any of those videos. What you saw me doing is taking a picture while I was there, and I was back to work that next day back here in Albany. And that's one thing I love to talk about too. I've always been about Albany the entire time I've been working. Whether you see me talking to Kanye West or Kyrie Irving or whoever.
How was it meeting Kyrie?
Me and Kyrie never met. We didn't meet in person.
Okay.
We FaceTime and
talk,
sometime. But either way, I'm always discussing Albany. I'm not one of them people who made it and then forget about Albany or
don't go to Cali and then never come back and nothing like that.
Back or don't claim Albany or none of that. No, every celebrity I talk to, from the president to the NBA players to the rappers, the first thing I mention in there, Albany, Georgia. What can you help Albany, Georgia? And so many of them have helped us in Albany, whether people like it or not. People have helped us in Albany solely because they've seen the work that we're doing, on social media. And that's why it's huge for us to share some of the things that we're doing and teach how to market. And so that's another thing that I've been doing is going to local nonprofits and teaching them like, hey, this is how you can market what you're doing so people will start giving and people will start supporting what you're doing in Albany, because we're in an impoverished city, and I'm not expecting parents to be able to pay $300 and $400 for them to come to a camp or something like that. No, I can just call a donor now and say, hey, I got about 25 kids that I want to take on a field trip. Can you sponsor it?
Right.
Yes. Half of the donors that we've, had in our program or support our program, I haven't even met them before. They just solely talk on the phone or we'll do Zoom calls.
That's dope.
That is it. And some of them have flown in to come meet us, but for the most part, they had never met us. We have a donor of ours who supports every single month. I have yet to meet him. He's been supporting us every month for 2 years straight. And he gives a significant amount. And I only talk to him on the phone maybe once a month or whatever like that. He just makes sure we good and asks if we need anything or whatever like that. And that's it. And so sometimes people, use this to say, oh, well, if you're accepting donations from white people, etc., you must be, bought, or they may be asking you to do X, Y, Z. I'm like, bro, I'm just being a dad and being a baseball coach and helping these kids out. What they don't realize is most of those people who have nonprofits that have a lot to say about me, who may be on that side or whatever like that, whatever side they claim, they have a whole bunch of government grants. We don't have no government grants.
Sure don't.
We got regular people that give to our program who give $5 here, $10 there.
Yep.
With y'all having the government grants, y'all talking to me like I'm being controlled. No, you're the one being controlled because you have to scratch when you don't itch and you got to dance when you don't like the music. We can do whatever we want to do with the
It's kind of bars right there.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want to do with the Extra Voice program. So it's important, that we think about what we're saying about people, and not just saying it just because we don't like them or we don't like who they hanging out with, or we don't like that this person supports them or whatever. Like, bro, you ain't seen me say nothing crazy, do nothing crazy. I'm simply supporting the city of Albany with the work that we're doing with our students, and not even just our students. From the giving we've done to local businesses, we've given thousands of dollars to local businesses. We've helped buy people. We've helped people get organs. We pay for funerals, etc. This is stuff we don't post, on social media, but I'm proud to say it because there is a lot of chatter about, me or acting like I'm a boogeyman in Albany or something like that. I don't do nothing but the same thing every day. I wake up, put my pants on just like everybody else do.
Right.
I get my kids ready for school. I take them to school. I get them out of school. Like I go to baseball practice, and that's what I do every single day. And everybody got all these, he must be doing this because of this, and he must be doing this because of that. Bro, I'm just trying to help the city of Albany.
Man, just trying to do right.
I'm just trying to help the city of Albany, trying to maybe digging into my personal life here and there. I don't care about that, man. We all men.
Yep.
But for the most part, man, that's all I do every single day. Like literally from sun up to sundown, my schedule is different every day, but I'm on local boards. I'm trying to figure out how things happen in the city of Albany. we have a lot of people that discuss so much about the city, from the school board to why things aren't happening, etc. But none of these people are at any of these meetings. None of them are, trying to apply to get on any of these boards. I'm on 5 different boards now in the city.
How's it like balancing all of this stuff with what you're doing? I'm hearing a lot of things you're doing, and it's only 24 hours and legitly probably like 12 hours of doing work. How are you balancing everything?
The same way Elon got 24 hours, I do too. Yeah,
That's
so same way all your favorite billionaires got 24 hours, I do too. So it's all about what you decide to do. You got to decide to get up earlier in the day, in the morning, to make a couple more things happen than everybody else does. So, and I tell people all the time, now, if you want to be average, then that's cool. Everybody ain't meant to or wants to do, bigger things, but I know I have a bigger vision and bigger ideas, so I just have to operate in a certain way that everybody else doesn't. I know I want to see the city of Albany change, so I'm like, okay, let me go integrate myself into the city. Because a long time ago, I did say that, we don't need the government, and like, while that statement is still true, the government needs us regular people who are outside in the actual community, and not career politicians, and nor people that are on the boards that are extremely, antiquated. The boards are very antiquated. I'm the youngest person on every board, and granted, that ain't their fault, because they're doing what they're trying, but nobody else is applying. No younger people are applying. Nobody's trying to get on these boards, but yet everybody's complaining on social media, to a point where I think that people are only complaining on socials just for the views.
Of course.
I don't think you're not actually trying to go get on these boards. I'm on some important boards that make important decisions right now for the city of Albany. Why aren't y'all applying? Y'all been complaining about the city of Albany for years, since I've been working in the city of Albany. So I decided to go jump in. I handed the Expo boys off to a point, to an operations manager. So I'm able to still come in and out, but the program doesn't need me there the whole time to continue running. So now I got, staff there to continue, the curriculum that I put together for them, so I can come in and out, but also go work in the city and go fight on those kids' behalf and on the back end too, because things that are happening up top in the city of Albany are trickling down to affect our students. And that's very, very important for us to realize, like our kids are a part of the city of Albany too. And I truly believe that the local leadership is local leadership, I believe they could do a better job at aiming at the children. And I'm not talking about, rebuilding gymnasiums or anything like that. I mean, like, programs to really help formulate mindset changing for these children who really aren't being raised because their parents don't have livable wage jobs. I mean, it's a big circle, as to why, the kids are illiterate, their parents are not around, etc. There's a whole lot of different things that could be happening different in the city of Albany, and we just need leadership and people with relationships. I know that's important too. I've built so many relationships around the world, and people that have tried to help the city of Albany because of what we've done,
right?
Because of the things they've seen us doing on social media, who had never heard of the city of Albany, Georgia. It's a small town.
Yeah, it is.
Most people hear Albany and think about New York. And I've had a lot of big people like, oh, you're in New York? I'm like, no, we're in Albany, Georgia. And they're like, Albany, Georgia? They're like, what's that? And I'm just like, we're in Albany. So we had this rich guy flying on a private jet down here to Albany, and I showed him everything, and he like, this city has loads of potential. He was like, if I were a billionaire, because he's just a millionaire, he was like, but if I'm a billionaire, I would like come and invest. Like, this is a town, like that's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I built a relationship with him, and we were in discussions to have different things come to the city of Albany. But speaking of that, if I didn't have that relationship, I wouldn't be able to bring those things. So it's important for us to stop just being our own little silos, worrying about who supporting what party and all that stuff. Bump a party. What's the Albany party?
Right.
Let's worry about Albany right now. We worry about all these parties and what's going on nationally, and we're not realizing the kid next door to you don't know how to read. The kid next door to you needs some assistance. And if all of us who have so much to say about Albany went and took some time out with some children, even with some adults, and actually tried to get inside of our community and do some real meaningful work, I believe the city of Albany will change overnight, literally, if everybody decided to do the right thing.
Right. And speaking of the 229, I got like a little joke. I coached baseball myself when I got medically retired to the Army. So I retired an amateur, retired, undefeated head coach.
Gotcha.
So what really got you into coaching baseball? That's pretty cool.
You know what?
It's my first love, by the way.
I got you. So I never played baseball my whole life, man. My son has to play when he turned 4. He has to play baseball. I played football my whole life. But
what position?
Running back. I'm short.
Okay.
Yeah. Running back, cornerback.
Yeah, there we go.
Those little.
Yeah, there we go.
But my son asked to play baseball, and I was like, well, all right, but I know that if we're gonna do something, we gotta practice, we gotta try and work at it or whatever. So I started practicing with him. I got him a coach. Well, I got him a little small coach or whatever like that to help us here in Albany. And then we kind of peaked out there. And then I'm like, okay, I need to learn how to coach you because we gonna have to be practicing at home. Like I can't just be worried about going to a practice every time. So my son has got coaching in Houston. He's got coaching in Iowa. He's got coaching in I mentioned Texas and Atlanta. So he's got some premier coaching. But while he was getting those coaching sessions, I'm watching those coaches coach him so I can learn what to do at home. And so to the point now where I figured out that we have coaching clinics to actually help you with coaching. So I'm not going there to really coach a team. I'm really going to really learn how to coach my son. But with coaching his team now, I just thought it would be cool to just see how it would feel to be like a core memory for these kids. Because I remember my first, coach in football. I just remember him.
Right.
But I was like, can I make this a real core memory and actually teach them about the game? One thing I did realize is, and it's no fault to the other coaches, is it's volunteer position. So but now that they're understanding that we're understanding the game, they're having to shift how they're playing. But the coaches don't got as much time as I do.
Right.
So we got plenty of time to practice. Like I've had them come to the house. My house, I got a little garage I created for us to train in there. So I got the kids come to the house. I teach them hitting. We do fielding, whatever. And that's where I peaked out at for right now.
Okay.
So I know that my son has reached a peak with my coaching. I don't know what else to do with him anymore besides just practice things we know over and over again. But now I'm like, okay, when the season's over, I got to go to some coaching clinics because I know that I need to be training you a little bit more in different things right now. So that's what we're going to be working on now. Plus, switch hitting. I've had 5 coaches hit me up and say, you need to teach him how to switch hit. That's it.
So speaking of sports, you was a hooper this past weekend in the celebrity basketball game. What was your experience being, selected to hoop and, the whole weekend, All-Star?
I was
Albany.
happy to participate. It was fun.
I tried to, so we both tried to shoot, but it just didn't cooperate.
It didn't work out. I had a great time. Interacting with everybody, man. I never played ball my whole life. Never played basketball. To save my life, I can't do it.
Yeah, defense. I got to give you credit. Defense. You was on, though.
But that's what I told him. I said, I played cornerback. You're not going to get around me.
Right.
I'm telling you that now. The only way you're going to get around me is if you just completely faster than me, if you, get a jump on me. But other than that, bro, ain't nobody shaking me. I'm not getting my ankles broke. None of that, bro.
That's the same thing.
It's not happening.
Long as Aaron Muse from WLB didn't score when I was checking him. That was the only goal. It's a little news thing, but long as he didn't score on me.
Yeah. But when I was playing D, nobody was getting around me. I got my rebounds. I was boxing people out. I got a steal.
So we're gonna call it a hood double, so 5 rebound, 5 steals, something like that.
A hood double.
I like that hood double.
Yeah, and I ran down the court, man, wide open. It was funny.
I wasn't gonna say nothing, but I do remember the play though.
Let me tell you something. I before the game started, I told my staff, I said, listen, I just know that I'm gonna get a wide open ball to go shoot a layup and I'm gonna miss it. I said, I just know what's gonna happen.
It was on schedule.
And I said, please, I'm just I don't want it to happen. So when I stole the ball,
you did.
I'm looking out my peripheral, hoping somebody is coming down the court
I can
pass the ball to.
It was open,
it was
wide open.
And I'm running. I said, I'm finna miss it, bro. I'm just running like I'm finna miss it. I just know I'm finna miss it. Get down there. Woo. Boom!
I'm like Ezel on Friday. I ain't gonna tell nobody else.
Man,
I ain't gonna tell nobody else.
So funny, man. I'm running like I know I'm finna miss it, man. And it's crazy. I didn't have time to practice because I said literally before the game, I said I need to go practice some layups or something. I just need to practice them. I said I know I'm gonna get a wide open layup and I'm gonna miss it. I said I need to practice some layups and I didn't get a chance to practice layups and I just knew what was gonna happen when I got down there. Missed it. So.
I really appreciate you for chopping up with me, but I'm gonna let you leave with this. What do you want the legacy of King Randall to be when they're reading this book about you? Let's say 50, 100 years down the road.
You know what? I wouldn't even want the book to just solely be about me. I want to see people inspired by what the kids who have been impacted by me, what happens with them. From my children to children from the Extra Boys program to people that I've affected in the communities. That's what I want people to see. My kids are going to show me what type of man I am. I don't care what I'm doing out here, Extra Boys, whatever, politics, I don't care. At the end of the day, my son's becoming, well-rounded, great men. That's what's most important to me, and that's what's going to show me what type of man I am and who I am and what kind of character I had. Because they'll listen to what you're telling them, but they're really listening to what you're showing them.
That's right.
And so I know that if my sons are becoming well-rounded young men and they've become great men, then I know that I've done my job. Outside of any other children, outside of the Extra Boys, outside of Albany, my children are what's most important. If they are becoming, you know, well-rounded young men, that's what I want my legacy to be. What my grandsons are doing. Right. And if I've seen that King Randall III is doing a fantastic job, or King Randall IV out here killing it, that's how I know Granddaddy did what he's supposed to do.
Right on. So
that's what I'm ready for.
So from man to man, I really salute you and
I appreciate
respect
you,
everything you're doing, man, and keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning into the podcast, and
absolutely.
We out.
Peace. Sure, theextraboys.org is THEXFORBOYS.org. You can find everything about us on our website, social media pages, pictures, videos, photos. You can send a message, donate, etc. Donate to the Amazon wish list. It's all on theextraboys.org.
Welcome to Snooty Podcast.